I've previously covered the fantastic Digimon Pocket World games with the Pocket Station, but I've received many comments wanting to know more, so this time I'm going to go over how to actually use the Pocket Station with the Pocket Digimon World PlayStation games. So first of all, obviously you're going to need all the equipment, so you'll need the Pocket Station itself. Now, I recommend having one Pocket Station per game that you want to use with the Pocket Station, as since they effectively just work as PlayStation 1 memory cards, they are completely filled by one of the Pocket Station games. So all the blocks are filled up by this one save. So if you want to run all of the Digimon Pocket World games, or even if you want to play other Pocket Station games that aren't just Digimon, because there were many released for a lot of different franchises, I recommend picking up one Pocket Station per game. The good news is, however, that these are fairly cheap. The games and the Pocket Stations themselves can be bought even on eBay cheaply, but of course I recommend using a proxy service like from Japan or Buyee, as it will be typically cheaper than eBay. However, of course, there are the shipping and fees at the end, but still tends to work out cheaper than going by eBay. But in any case, they're fairly cheap. Japan You Want also seem to often stock Pocket Stations and games for the Pocket Station, so that's also a recommendation. This video isn't sponsored by anyone, so that's just my recommendation about what stores I've used before and what I would just recommend without being sponsored. So in any case, yes, you'll need the Pocket Station, of course, obviously, and as I recommended, at least one per game. So next you'll obviously want the games, and of course a Japanese PlayStation original. Now, I'm not sure how well these run on PlayStation 2s or US PlayStation 1 units. I just know that I had to buy a Japanese PlayStation for that, but that's because I am in Australia and we have PAL, so I had to have an NTSC-J PlayStation. So I'm not sure if they run on NTSC regular PlayStation units. That's something you'll have to test. I've actually heard conflicting answers for both PlayStation 2s and US PlayStation units, so I can't really say whether or not because I haven't been able to personally test it, and everything I've read online seems to be fairly conflicting. Some say it's possible, some say it's not possible, some say it's possible with mods, others say it's just not worth it because there's so much modding involved. So I would recommend just buying a Japanese PlayStation because those are also on the cheap-ish. If you have to buy everything for it, obviously that's the most expensive part, but overall still fairly cheap. So you'll need games, PlayStation, obviously, and the Pocket Stations alongside it. And then, as I mentioned in my first video, the PlayStation Pocket Stations effectively work the same as a traditional PlayStation memory card, except for the fact that it has screen and buttons. So to load it up, you just plug it into the PlayStation, go to Digimon's house, and then you download the Digimon onto the Pocket Station. Most of the gameplay itself is on the Pocket Station little toy virtual pet thing, but you'll want to have the game so you can upload and download to and from the game, and you'll also see all the items that you unlock and collect in the quest mode. You can also evolve your Digimon. The only way to evolve your Digimon is on the game itself, and you can also switch out your Digimon for another one and have sort of like the other ones stay on the PlayStation save, I guess. They're kind of sleeping. They put it in kind of a sleep mode. And you can also battle Digimon in the Colosseum, and most of your activity in the game itself on the PlayStation will be in Digimon's house, as I mentioned, uploading, evolving, downloading, swapping Digimon back and forth. People have asked me if you need the game, and the answer is yes. You can't evolve, and you can't load your Digimon to and from without having the actual game. So you will need the game, but Most of it is on the Pocket Station itself. I've also been asked, do you need the Pocket Station itself? And yes, of course, that's where all the gameplay is. So, in terms of playing the Pocket Station games, another frequently asked question is, do I have to know Japanese? And my answer is not really. You can kind of learn the menus just by kind of just experimentation, I suppose. However, I do recommend learning hiragana and katakana just to help you read the menus. I'll do my best in this video to explain what menu option does what, but overall I do recommend just learning kana. It's a good entry point and you can actually learn it fairly quickly. You can use traditional flashcards, that's how I learned it many moons ago. You can also use an app. Duolingo and Duo Cards are pretty good for just picking up kana. If you just want to learn kana, you don't really necessarily have to learn what each word means. You can kind of just type the kana into Google Translate and work it out that way. But I'd recommend just learning kana just to help you learn what the menu options does, and overall, again, I'll try to go over the best to my ability what each menu item does, but yeah, I just recommend picking up kana. You can learn it in like 48 hours. It's pretty easy to pick up. The vocab and the kanji is where, and the grammar will kill me, but you can just sort of pick up just kana and probably have a better time than without. So the Pocket Station is where you raise the Digimon and where the virtual pet aspect of the game is. So from the Pocket Station you can check the stats, which is the first option, and the stats itself are part of the evolution requirements, similar to in the Digimon World PlayStation game. The second option, which is Battle, brings up a menu, and in this menu the first option is where you can tell your Digimon to increase stats by doing various activities. The options here from top to bottom are muscle training, which is defense and attack, studying for wisdom, eating food for HP, playing for MP, speed up for, you guessed it, speed, and take a nap, which is just letting your Digimon rest. And then the second option after that first option of training will let you choose what skills you want the Digimon to increase from winning battles. And from within that menu, it's the same as the first, muscle training, studying, etc., etc. And you'll see the first option is kin tore, which is kin meaning muscle, and tore is tore from training, toreningu, so muscle training. There's some quick Japanese for you. And you'll notice that kin tore is written with kin in hiragana, and tore is written in katakana. So that's why I recommend learning both. It is, I would say, mainly hiragana in this, but attack names, Digimon names, and training is in katakana. So that's why I recommend learning both. So we have that second menu being what skills your Digimon increases from battles, and the first option being just making them train or work on those skills right now. After that, the third and fourth option lets you pick how you want your Digimon to fight, and the next menu, back out again to the main menu, is after the one after battle, is where you can talk to your Digimon to see how they're feeling. Digimon who are unhappy ask to have alone time and run away, and then after that you have the third menu, which is your quest or adventure, where you follow along a map to battle Digimon and collect items which you can view on the PlayStation game. So both running away and battles are also part of the the evolution requirements, battles being a fairly typical evolution requirements, and running away kind of acting, I guess, as a care mistake. And of course, missing calls is also part of the evolution requirements as well. So that is something to consider, that both of those are important for certain evolutions. So after that, we have other menu items, such as the option to battle other devices, mini-games on the wind and cool nature versions, which, again, that's written in katakana, that's mini-game. The ability to jogress, also written in katakana, which allows you to unlock other Digimon. And then we have skills, where you can see your Digimon skills, and then just settings, where you can adjust what you'd usually adjust from settings, like sound, etc. And then the ability just to go back to the idle screen. There's also the 4 Pocket World guidebooks, which are really helpful. They have evolution requirements as well as the recommended order for going through the quest mode. And again, the quest mode is where you unlock items you can view on the Pocket World PlayStation game. It acts as like the story, I guess, where Digimon runs a museum, but all the items in the museum have gone missing or been stolen. So you get these items back by battling Digimon along this map, and as you go, they'll kind of like they'll either like diss you and like make fun of you, or they'll reference the story and they'll say, I'll tell Devimon about this, or I'll tell my master about this, or what have you. So the story itself kind of tells you where to go next, but the guidebooks do help in that regard. They also give recommended stats for the harder boss Digimon in this mode, which is pretty helpful. I have been posting the contents of this book over on Twitter, but I'd honestly recommend picking them up if you're interested, since they can be found fairly cheaply online by using a proxy service such as from Japan or Bai. Again, not sponsored, just where I got them from. So if you are picking up the Pocket Stations and the games from Japan using proxy service, I just may as well add those as well to your shopping list, so to speak, as I do recommend them. And you can kind of get what they're saying without knowing Japanese. Again, learning kana can kind of help you a little bit in that regard, but I just recommend them. I think they're really helpful. So while you're running your Pocket Station, throughout the day your Digimon will ask questions. Typically, they're asking you how you feel about something, and the best option, typically, if you're not sure what they're saying, is to kind of agree with them. So any agreeing statement like iyo or sodane, anything that is positive or you're agreeing with them. Otherwise, the other option is usually saying no, so either dame dayo, or ie. Again, if you learn kana, that'll help you in what to read what they're saying. But those are usually the best options to choose when they are asking you something. So they will also ask you if they can remember a new technique or if they can have alone time. And sometimes they'll ask you what stats they should work on, either just with what they're doing now or when they're in battle. And they'll also ask how they should attack, and again, these options I've all mentioned you can choose yourself from the menu, but sometimes your Digimon will have initiative and ask you themselves, which this whole, like, having a conversation with your Digimon makes them feel more realistic and more lifelike than in other virtual pets. So they'll also ask you if they can take a break, which again, you say iyo. Be very careful, it's not iye, it's iyo. Iye means no, iyo means good. Ii means good. It's like, yes, I like this is okay. So you'll go with that option just because otherwise they'll get sad and you don't want a sad Digimon. To keep Digimon happy, it's best to answer as many calls as possible, because too many calls, your Digimon will be angry, will run away, and eventually won't evolve. This is effectively like a care mistake on traditional virtual pets. In addition, a happy Digimon will be able to train for longer and better, but in order to raise stats effectively, I recommend both battling and then leaving your Pocket Station to train alone for a bit, and then battle again. It also stops your Digimon from becoming bored and keeps them happy. Now, when the Digimon is ready to evolve, a small spinning symbol will appear, but you can keep training them if you're not sure if they have the stats to evolve to the Digimon you want yet, but otherwise you just load them back into the PlayStation game, go back to Digimon's house, and select Evolve, which is the kanji for Shinka, which is evolve. You then wait for the data to download, it takes a long time, onto the Pocket Station, and then you watch the animation of the evolution. It'll, again, takes quite a long time. In terms of compatibility with the other devices and games, it can connect to the WonderSwan via the WonderWave add-on, which in turn can connect to two-prong Digimon toys with the two-prong Digimon WonderSwan add-on. It also allows for Digimon to be loaded up from the Pocket Station into Japanese copies of Digimon World 2. So if you have a Japanese copy of Digimon World 2, you can load up Chimeramon. For memory, it's the only way to get Chimeramon in Digimon World 2, so that's pretty cool, but in general, that's basically everything that I wanted to go over. I have asked a few people what their questions are about running the Pocket Stations, and anything that wasn't clear in my initial video. If you want to learn more about the Pocket Station, check out my previous video if you haven't already. I would love to cover these more because I just think they are delightful little things. And as I mentioned in my initial video, I really wish that the Vital Bracelet had similar functionality where it could work across various different games and platforms. I think that's a pretty cool feature and mechanic there, but it is what it is. We have what we have. But the Pocket Station in general is a pretty cool piece of tech, and even though it feels very slow in some parts, especially when you're loading to and from the PlayStation game, it is quite fun, and I don't know, it feels its age when you're loading things from, or you're loading anything from any PlayStation game. You can definitely feel how old something is. But in any case, that's all that I wanted to go over in this video. If there's anything that I didn't explain super well, let me know in the comment sections below. I don't bite, I think. I don't know, I haven't bitten anyone recently. But let me know any thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Like this video for Digimon being the champions, I guess, or maybe not the champions if you evolution fail. So in any case, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your neighbours, tell your enemies, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!